Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, we're going to be looking at a new Blastoise card. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's only been a few hours since we looked at the new Charizard, and now it's time to talk about Blastoise. No Venusaur yet, although I rather suspect a new Venusaur is going to be revealed shortly, because these first partner Pokemon, they tend to come around as trios. So Blastoise then, it's got 160 HP. That is actually 10 more than Charizard, so you know, in your face Charizard. And it's got a retreat cost of 3, which is very high. And gloriously, it is weak to grass, not lightning. These water Pokemon can be either in the Pokemon trading card game, depending on what the trend is at the moment. Grass weakness is fine. It means you're weak to Delmise and Golisopod, but you're not weak to lightning. Weakness to lightning at the moment sucks, because Electro Power allows lightning Pokemon to do an extra 30 damage, and it basically means that they can get up to big damage really rather quickly. You don't want a lightning weakness at the moment, and this doesn't have it. And you're a water Pokemon, so you get access to Aqua Patch to accelerate a little bit of energy. You get access to Brooklet Hill to search out your basic, which is rather nice. That's Squirtle. We've not seen Squirtle yet. We did have a great Squirtle in Boundaries Crossed, which protected itself on the bench. Hopefully, I mean, there's going to be a new Squirtle in this set. I should mention this card is going to be coming out in Team Up. We're going to get a new Squirtle. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose. But, you know, you can search it out with Brooklet Hill regardless. Yay! But as always, it is the attack and ability about which we are primarily concerned, and our translations here come from the lovely Tunu1223, as well as the lovely David Hochmann. They agree. And as far as I'm concerned, ladies and gentlemen, when they both agree, we've got the right translation here. So the ability says, once during your turn, you may look at the top 6 cards of your deck and attach as many water energy as you find to your Pokemon in any way that you like. That is quite phenomenal energy acceleration. That's ridiculous. And this should remind a bunch of you of Max Elixir. Now, Max Elixir was an item card that unfortunately got rotated in September. That let you look at the top 6 cards of your deck. And you could attach 1 basic energy to a benched basic Pokemon. Well, this lets you attach as many as you like to any Pokemon you like, whether it's benched or active, whether it's evolved or basic. And if Max Elixir was a good card that saw play, this is a phenomenal card. But it is on a stage 2, and that's one of the things we do have to remember when we're talking about stage 2s. They are a little bit unreliable. Now, as I mentioned in the Charizard video, we do have a Alolan Ninetales nowadays, which is nice. And that can help you search out your rare candy, which is nice. But at the end of the day, it's inherently going to be a little bit less consistent, which is a little bit more of a pain. But there can be no denying here that this is a phenomenal ability, which is going to be great not just for Blastoise as an attacker, but for any other attacker using either colorless or water energy. And this harks right back to the old Blastoise, the one that we actually featured as a possibility with unknown damage recently, whereby you can attach as many energy as you like. The thing is, that Blastoise, you had to have the energy in hand. This, you don't. And what you can do is kind of wait until you're a little bit later in the game and then play an energy recycler. And an energy recycler is going to put 5 basic water energy back into your deck from your discard pile, which will massively raise the ratio of basic energy to non-basic energy in your deck, which will mean you're more likely to hit 2 or 3 of these. And while we're here, how about Victini Prism Star? Now, Victini Prism Star doesn't use water energy, so you would need something like a counter energy here. And essentially, this allows you to do 20 damage for each basic energy in your discard pile. Then you shuffle those cards into your deck. Even though you need to use fire energy to pay the cost of Victini, this works with any basic energy. And the great thing about this is that you get all your energy back into your deck, but at that stage your deck is quite thin, so the ratio of energy to non-energy in your deck is really quite high, and you're hitting 2, 3, 4 energy every time you use this ability with Blastoise. And if you use cards like Energy Recycler and Victini, this is an ability that will actually get better and better as the game goes along, and there's more energy in your deck proportionately. But then of course you can always use Macago here, which will guarantee that you hit 1 energy, because you can put an energy on top of your deck. Or you can use Mallow here to guarantee that you hit 2 energy by putting 2 energy onto the top of your deck, which is kind of cool. And look, turn 2 here, if you can get Blastoise rolling, we'll talk about the attack in a minute, but you can see it costs 3 energy. So if you can use this ability turn 2 by hitting a rare candy with a Blastoise, you could potentially just have this going turn 2. And if you're willing to attach an energy from your hand, you only need to find 2 with the ability, and that's a legit turn 2 150. It's kind of like Charizard. I will pop a link to my Charizard video in the description. Except Charizard was, you get the 2 energy, you do 130 turn 2. This could be even more than that, but it's a little bit less certain you can with the ability here. Even if you get the turn 2 Blastoise, there's no guarantee that you hit the energy. But remember, it's not just Blastoise here. You could attach this energy to something like a Suicune GX, or a Lapras for instance, or even a White Kyurem. They're getting moderately popular nowadays, and actually now you're running into more options because you can attack with something that isn't Blastoise. But now we need to ask the question, is this any better than the combination of Naganadel and Quagsire? Naganadel and Quagsire we've looked at in the context of a Suicune deck. I'll pop a link to that in the description. But Naganadel, once during your turn, you can attach a basic energy from your discard to it. And then Quagsire lets you move basic water energy to your active Pokemon. Okay. Is that better than Blastoise here? And the answer is, I'm not 100% sure. Also, side note, Quagsire is any water energy, not just basic, so a counter energy would count, as long as it was attached to a non-GX and you were behind on prizes, at which point it would be a water energy. Because you got a couple things going on here, because Naganadel and Quagsire means you're playing 2 stage 1s, rather than a single stage 2. But that just runs. Every turn you get an energy with Naganadel and you can move it over with Quagsire. That's beautiful. Blastoise has no guarantee you're going to hit energy, but you might hit multiple energy, so it might actually be better. And certainly late game after an energy recycler, you would expect to hit more than 1 energy with Blastoise, and therefore this could actually be a little bit better. Plus you're only taking up 1 bench space rather than 2. If you can keep energy in the deck, I think this is better, but the inherent it's a stage 2 is an issue. Now in terms of the attack here, free water energy, 150 damage, you do 30 damage to yourself. This means that you will one-hit KO the vast majority of non-GXs, think things like Buzzwole and White Kyurem. But there will be some things like Mamoswine and Regigigas and even Wailord that survive. Not that any of them are seeing a huge amount of play, Wailord certainly is the most. But you can add a choice band here and you're up to 180, down goes Rayquaza. And then with Shrine of Punishment in play, you're up to 190 and down goes Buzzwole. But that's not actually everything. Things like Lycanroc and Zoroark don't go down here. And yes, sure, maybe you can keep Shrine of Punishment in play for an extra turn or 2. And then you will get them into range, but now you're relying on multiple turns of Shrine of Punishment to get the KO, and as anyone that's been playing with Shrine of Punishment out lately will know, relying on multiple turns of Shrine of Punishment is not exactly the most reliable strategy ever. It's a little bit awkward. It is a big attack, but it doesn't always hit the numbers. Whereas with Charizard, in that previous video, I talked about 2 energy with the ability you're hitting 130. That's stuff like Buzzwole. 3rd energy, you're hitting Rayquaza. Choice Band, you're hitting Zoroark. When I talked about Charizard, I went, we are hitting the numbers beautifully, and it was wonderful. Blastoise, you are to a degree. But as soon as you get past 190, Blastoise just looks at you and goes, look, what do you want from me? I'm not hitting that much damage. But then again, Charizard's ability only accelerates damage to itself, whereas Blastoise is way more used for accelerating energy to other Pokemon. And I think that's the key point about Blastoise. As an attacker, it's good, but it sometimes falls short. But as energy acceleration, it is spectacular. Just so long as you're willing to have a stage 2 out. Now, as a side note, please do remember that this will only be turned off by slacking, and active slacking is the only way to turn off this ability, so it's one on which you can rely. I'm going to be giving Blastoise 4 Wassies. I think it's a good card, and I think there's a lot of potential, but I am slightly worried that Naganadel Quagsire can do it, potentially better. We don't really know. We need testing to really figure this out. And I'm not loving the attack here as much as it does a lot of damage and is certainly useful. If you try going full Blastoise, you're going to come against some decks that are just like, haha, you can't KO me, and that's going to be a little bit of a pain. Having said that, Blastoise has got 160 HP, so maybe it's not going to be KO'd back. It is a good attack, let me be super clear, it's a very good attack. But I don't know if it's a spectacular attack. But either way, the energy acceleration here, very nice indeed. We don't have Venusaur yet. When we do, obviously I'll make a video about it. But for now, I'd like to know what you think about Blastoise. So let me know in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. Go nuts, but please do remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays. Today we are starting our in-depth look at Keyforge, and it is awesome. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves. Until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.